Okay, I'm going to show you where we're at. Hope you can see it, but GPS showing you that line right there. Let's see if we can hold it steady enough. Yeah, that's a Mexican line. See the cars are headed? That line is Mexico. So, whoa. I'm gonna have to figure out another way of, wow, it's beautiful. This is beautiful. Oh man. Gonna have to figure out another way of doing my video recording. I had a camera up on the dash. I didn't like it. I don't even know if the sound came through or not. But it's drawing my attention away from the road. That's another thing. Down here, you are responsible for everything. So if I make this curve right here and somebody's passing, I'm responsible, just like they're responsible. We're all screwed. So that's why you see everybody does everything to avoid accidents. You haven't seen it, but I had a bus that was passing, and it didn't leave me no room. I couldn't go off to the right side, and I ended up having to stop, and he just barely missed me. And but there's things like that everybody takes the responsibility. In other words, if he would have run into me, it would have been my fault too for not stopping and letting him, have the right of way, because he was in a bad fix. And he would have been in trouble because he was in a bad fix and he shouldn't have been trying to pass in that situation. So it really gets to be an adventure on driving, because we all are trying to, oh boy, man, that's good. We're all trying to avoid accidents. I don't know, did you see that big old rock on the bridge? So I don't know if that fell off of a truck or fell off the side of the mountain here. I don't know. And you see, it said lighter. That's a political group. So, and that's what they do. They'll paint everything. So when you see them painted like that, white, sometimes they paint them white, so they tell you. And that's one thing to remember down here: you don't run into anything that's white, because normally when they paint something white, it's a rock, it's the base of a tree, is something like that. So that's why you don't want to run into anything that's white. And another thing, I didn't have the camera on. The road was gone, and they patched the road, and you could see it was a drop off. That was a little tense moment. But, oh, you see this? Oh man, this is beautiful. Now, remember, they've got a history. Guatemala's got a history of, I guess be about 500 years. So they've been exploring this country, like I say, for 500 years. But it's unlike the United States. United States, they could take a river and follow rivers and go upstream, come downstream, this type of stuff. They don't have that here. This is on the back of a burro, and they had to go up and down these mountains. So this is a very, very tough place here. And like I say, if something happens to this road, that would be it. I mean, they've lost everything, all connections with the outside when this road's gone. But anyway, that's why this is a very important road. And you can see when they'll have landslides, rocks come down on this, and that's it. Stops the traffic right there. So, boy, there's people living up there. I don't know if you can see it. There's people up there, live up there. Maybe we're coming to a town. That might mean something. So, yeah, there's a lot of houses up on the side of this place. Now, see, after living down here for 10 years, there was no way I would live on the side of a mountain. I have learned so much about living on the side of a mountain. I mean, there's so many things that can affect your life living on the side of a mountain. And now, yeah, there's a little town here. In the United States, I learned not to live on top of a mountain. I was looking at some property one time. It really wasn't a mountain. It was in Kansas, so you know there's no mountains. But we had some pretty good-sized hills, and I was looking at some property on top of this hill, and it was like 80 acres, and it had like 4 or 5 ponds, and none of them had water in it. And so they didn't have water. Buying country property with no water is not smart. And I tried to use my imagination to justify buying that, and I could not. It was just, I mean, there was no runoff, so that's why the ponds were all dry. And there was a river on the bottom of the hill, but it was like I said, it was a pretty good sized hill. And the river, I don't know for a fact, but I noticed lately the farmers they haven't been irrigating from the rivers anymore like they used to. So I'm taking for granted that now there's some kind of regulations. Remember I said the government wants to control the water. So that would be the situation is how do I get the river water up, and do I have the river water? Can I take the river water? See, so these are all things that you need to consider. And really, you know, if I was, you know, I've been self-employed. And so when you're self-employed, you become frugal. You watch where you spend your money. You don't waste it. But if I was more wasteful, I wouldn't be driving around down here in an old Camry. I'd be driving in a nice four-wheel drive, because already you notice the speed bumps. It's nicer to be in a four-wheel drive going over these speed bumps. But also, when the road is gone, see this can have a landslide. Okay, I think this has been patched right here. At one time, that slid off and took the road with it. That's why the road was real bumpy back there. They patched it all up. They put in a new chunk of road right there. And but sometimes they just use gravel, and I mean it gets really tough. Ruts are bad, and during rainy season, it's really tough to get around after the roads have been washed or a landslide took the road away. See all those white lines? Those are water lines. Just plain old PVC water lines. That's one of the things that really got me when I first came down here. They'll lay the water lines right on top of the ground. Now see, there's a landslide. See this landslide right there? That slid down and took this. But the road, looks like the road, they kept the road. It didn't take the road out. It just slid down on the road, and they just pushed it off on the side. Hey. Boy, there's people living up there. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get that. Boy. Whoa. But, see what I'm saying? I can't even imagine driving this at night. I mean, there could be a cow out on the road. There could be an accident, tank come around a curve, and then there's an accident, smash right into it. There's a lot of things that can happen nighttime driving. That's why I say you never drive at night down here. And I did. One time I did drive this. Matter of fact, it was raining. It was nighttime and it was raining, and it was one of the most dangerous drives I've done down here. Anyway, my arm's getting tired holding the camera up, and there's a girl's learning how to cross the road. No, she's not. I don't know what she was out there in the road looking at. So, but anyway, it's really beautiful. Really beautiful. See, a nice house like that out here in the middle of nowhere. You know, and you saw that nice vehicles. You know, I don't know how. I mean, these people make $150 to $200 a month. How do they get this stuff? And the one thing is, it's such a small country, and it's been around for so many years. All of the land belongs to somebody. And so all the land belongs to somebody. The only way you can get any land down here is when somebody dies and their family, what do you call it? Oh, here's a police. The family family does what happens. Grandparents make things, and then they give it to the children, and the children mess around with it, and then eventually it gets down to the grandchildren, and the grandchildren, since they never had to work it, they really don't know and understand what the process. They'll lose it in a gambling debt, or buying liquor or drugs or some kind of stuff like that. Anyway, they lose it. Generations on down lose the property, and that's just the way it is. In what I've seen in life, that's the way it is. Not just here. I mean, it's everywhere. But like I say, down here, since it's a small amount of ground, every bit of ground is owned, so people just end up dying and leaving it to somebody, and then they end up losing it somewhere down the line. See the bricks? More bricks. There's I say, I've been coming down here for over 40 years, not driving. 40 years ago. I wasn't driving it 40 years ago. I think about 30 years ago I started driving it. But there's so much going on now than what it was, and now what am I going to do? I'm going around. That was a pretty area there, going into some town. Let's see if you can see where we're at. See where we're at? I don't know if that showed up on video or not. Well, this is a nice town. I like this town. Got a river even. And that bridge looked like the town is on the other side of the river. how many people live here. But anyway, does this help you? Figure out where we're at. The road signs there. Let's see. Yeah, this is a nice little town. Let's see, that looks like that slid off. Whoa! Yeah, a little bit of road damage there. Here, they put this up to hold the mountain up. Oh, this is a nice little town. Oh, like I mentioned one of my other videos, I don't know for sure, but I think it runs about 80, maybe 85% of the population is Indians. So just imagine in the United States, if 80-85% was Indians, and then that's what it is down here. They brought in technology and lifestyle from the Europeans, and that's why you see the whole family all lives together, and I'm gonna make a video about that. The kids never move out of the house. The kids know that they're born and raised in this house, and then when their parents die, the house will belong to them, and then when they die, the house will belong to the kids. And that is something I need to talk about. I'll tell you what I've observed and what I think I figured out. But that'll be coming up on another video. But now, also, this is, we are 3 hours into the trip. I say an 8 to 10 hour trip. We're 3 hours into it. And so we've driven 3 hours in the mountains. Total mountains. And matter of fact, we started more close to the Pacific side, and instead of going over to the Atlantic or Gulf side, I say we're going down the center of the country, and that'll be basically where Tuxtla is, be the center of Mexico, and Mexico City's in the center. And normally when I go to the United States, it'll be the same thing. I stay in the center of Mexico. But anyway, hey, now I can get up. See, we're going 60 miles an hour now. So we are able to get a little bit of speed. We've gone 34 miles since I gassed up in Wayway. And let's see, 42 miles Wayway from Shella. So we've gone 42, 70, 77 miles in 3 hours. So, okay, we'll let you go.